I'm guessing it's this one by Nicholas Ma. Can perfect pitch survive Baroque tuning? My experiment with an A equals 415 Hertz harpsichord continuo. Okay. I know that, yeah, we need to make the internet accessible through landline. Oh, okay. So, yeah, no, this would actually be perfect for me to look at. This person tried overcoming what they considered to be perfect pitch's greatest weakness, Baroque pitch. I know that the standard pitch of A is 440. Yeah. Although, there are people that are obsessed with, like, esoteric frequencies that think that music should either be 444 or 432. 432 because it's a multiple of 108. 108 being a sacred number in Hinduism, because 108 is the ratio of the distance between the moon and the earth, as well as the earth and the sun, which makes you wonder how the Hindus knew that, but that is a story for another time, because that actually deserves its own video, which I've actually been wanting to make videos just like that, but those take time and effort, and I have this thing called a job that kind of gets in the way. So instead of worrying about the esoteric frequencies, we're going to learn about Baroque frequency instead, and whether or not perfect pitch can get in the way. So let's go ahead and get started with that, shall we? But let me make sure that I fix the speed so that it's not too fast.
This is me, very confused. Because for the past 8 months, I have been doing an experiment in learning Baroque harpsichord continuo.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can tell the difference between different, like, frequencies. I mean, there's very little difference between 440 and 444, but there is a noticeable difference between it and 432. I mean, when it comes to, like, certain musical traditions, there's the concept of microtonality or quarter tones, which is very popular in, like, Middle Eastern music theory.
Why? Because I want to see if I can overcome a weakness in my perfect pitch. If you know anyone with perfect pitch, they most likely have this weakness too. Now,
I've noticed. Well, I remember. Well, I'll talk about it in a moment, but you're passionate about music theory. I remember taking AP music theory in my senior year of high school, and I got a 5, which is the highest that you can get, which means I got college credit for it. But I never went to college, so it wasn't that useful in the end. When you learned about the tuning of instruments.
let me explain a few things so that everyone's...
Oh, I can explain perfect pitch quite. Am I into radio at all? Not really, but I know that... all I know is that video killed the radio star. But I could talk about perfect pitch. I know this is C, this is B flat, this is F sharp, this is A flat.
On the same page. Perfect pitch. It's the rare ability to be able to tell what note is playing without any preparation.
Yeah, you know, you can identify any note on a scale, and then you can sing any note when it's named.
Just like abnormally, if you saw these pictures, you can instantly see that, oh yeah, the tree...
My avatar's in the way, but...
green.
Wise mystical tree is calling. The great Deku tree.
Or the banana is yellow. It's like instant, and
yeah.
You don't have to think about it, it's just a fact. And
I actually remember the moment that my perfect pitch started developing. It was in, like, elementary school, and I remember in elementary school music class, and looking in the textbook, we were learning about the basics. I don't remember what it is we were learning, but I remember looking at a musical sheet of Beethoven's Ode to Joy and its key signature. And I knew in my head that Ode to Joy started on F sharp. Da 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 da. And I remember asking, I noticed that it was in the key of, I don't remember which key is the one that has 2 sharps. It's the one with F sharp and C sharp. I don't remember what the key signature is called. It's not G. Or maybe it is G. Never mind that. And I wondered, this sheet music doesn't even feature C, so why is C sharp even notated in the key signature? And the teacher told me because that's just how it is. But that's when my perfect pitch started to develop, because I knew what F sharp sounded like.
It's kind of like this for perfect pitch. Like this, it's always A.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
A.
Never mistake it for another note like this.
That's C.
How-
That's C sharp.
However, there's one massive problem. This only works if we tune to A equals 440 hertz
Yeah, that's the only way that it works.
as the reference pitch. What does this mean? Well, it's more accurate to say that people with perfect pitch hear wiggly
Mage something. It's just they're grooving with.
air per second rather than
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just the vibration of the air.
note names. This is the note A. When you
Yeah, well, at least that's what we call it here in Western.
hit this note, the air will
Yeah, and that's the frequency.
wiggle 440 times a second.
I think that's a sine wave because it's well, actually, it doesn't really matter what type of wave. Well, it is a sine wave, but sine and cosine are just like half a thing apart.
We call this 440 hertz, aka our A reference pitch.
Right.
All you need to
No,
know
every time that we like tuned instruments in like band class and stuff, we always, whenever we have a tuner, we always set it to 440.
though is that most music nowadays follows this tuning.
At least here in at least in Western music theory. In other parts of the world, they have completely different things. Yes, I remember playing the recorder in like 4th grade, I think. And then I elevated to clarinet, and I played clarinet throughout middle and high school.
With A set to 440 hertz.
I still have my clarinet. There's a part of me that wants to do like little videos of me playing songs on it, but that would be copyright hell.
However, during the Baroque period, A wasn't standardized. Some people tuned all their music to A equals 392 hertz.
Oh lord, that would be very flat.
And some also tuned to A equals 415 hertz. For example, an A at 415 hertz would sound like this.
That would sound like A flat. That sounds like A flat to me, but yeah.
So here, when I played that A note with the A415 tune,
Yeah, it sounds like A flat or G sharp.
that A was wiggling at 415 times.
So it really does show how arbitrary our standards seem. I mean, obviously there's like a structure to it. Music is very, very mathematical. In fact, it's all math. But as for how we like naming conventions, it is pretty much about as arbitrary as the order of the alphabet itself. Yeah, they call that note a fa, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, like that. I know that in like some Middle Eastern traditions, they just use numbers for each note.
Per second. People with relative pitch won't really mind this, but people with perfect pitch will.
Yeah, we know. I know. To me, that does not sound like an A. That sounds like an A flat.
Be able to notice the different amount of wiggling, and it makes it off by a semitone, sounding like a G sharp. To go back to that color analogy, it's like
Now let's see. No, I want to see how this would work with Middle Eastern music theory, because they have microtones.
you're seeing this tree as orange and this banana as purple, and you know it's supposed to be.
Yes, this is janky. They didn't know how to edit colors on an image. It sounds like me sometimes.
Green and yellow, but no.
I mean, they don't like. When it comes to orange, the color is named after the fruit. And the fruit is named after the tree, and the tree itself, the name orange is of Sanskrit origin, naranja. Basically, it's math and psychology. You prefer using fe. Well, there's like when it comes to like the semitones on the solfege, usually I think it's D, do, D, re, re, mi, fa, fi, so, si, la, te, because there's already T, and then T, do, and that's how it works in the solfege, so.
No matter what, you physically can't see it as green or yellow. Now imagine listening or playing to a whole
Having perfect pitch,
piece like this.
and then in Baroque tuning.
Every single color doesn't really match what your brain expects, making the music feel wrong or unsettling, especially if you look at the score as well.
Yeah.
Because your brain is constantly trying to correct the notes that's there.
No, I'm starting to understand it. I'm starting to really understand where he's coming from.
So if you do a quick search on Google with perfect pitch,
Oh no, perfect pitch Baroque. Yeah, you like how he explains it in a very synesthesia way. Yeah, hearing colors.
and Baroque tuning, you can see lots of people with perfect pitch getting absolutely dunked on.
Those with perfect pitch have labels for specific pitches. They're pretty much stuck in their minds. I've known people with PP who couldn't stand listening to Bach playing on standard instruments because everything is out of tune.
By this too,
You could say,
even precedent of performers losing their perfect pitch from this frequent exposure.
no, actually let me listen to what Baroque music sounds like then, and I'll see whether or not it's really as out of tune.
With all this context on how it seems to be perfect pitch's greatest weakness, I'm gonna see if I can overcome it. For the next 8 months, I will be tormenting my own perfect pitch by learning a Baroque instrument called the harpsichord and a style of playing it called continuo. Of course, all in Baroque tuning.
All
Document
right.
my progress leading up to the final.
Yeah, you spoke to that. No, we need to have. There needs to be more Baroque music. There needs to be more Baroque tuning in DDR and rhythm games. I'm sure there are some songs in some rhythm games that are probably tuned to such a thing, but
Exactly. This is what happens.
let's go.
The first week was a pain. In 415 Hz tuning, playing even something as simple as a major scale was so disorienting. And keep in mind, the harpsichord
Me attempting to play an A-flat major scale.
has a keyboard layout. It's the
Already wrong notes.
same as the piano. Bro, this... I even tried playing some
Yeah, that's very flat.
piano pieces that I
Or at least it sounds very flat, but to them it probably wouldn't be flat.
previously learned. For example, I know the Bach C# major Well-Tempered Clavier by heart.
Yeah, live recording.
But the moment I play on
But when you do it in actual, but when you do it at 3, it said 413,
415,
415.
the
Okay.
C# major sounds like C major, which makes me try to shift my fingers down a half step.
Oh my God! So even when it comes to playing the piano, the way it sounds doesn't seem to line up with how you're physically playing it.
But that just makes it play the wrong note because it's the wrong note.
Oh Lord. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know. Now, I wonder if this would happen if I was to try to tune my clarinet to that. But then again, it's kind of hard to tune a clarinet because you have to adjust the barrel, which is the part underneath the mouthpiece. Bach was what did it. Bach's air, to be specific. But which turns out to originally not on the G string. No, Libby Falfax from Jimmy Neutron did a project on the Baroque era's influence on today's music by comparing Bach's air on a G string to Jammy Jang's Stake the Bad Things Up. I'm sorry, Bach.
Like, comment below if like making sense or like if I'm just sounding like a raving.
No, I understand. No, I understand. I understand perfectly. I understand exactly where he's coming from. But I don't really. But I don't know how to play piano, so I don't have that much experience with it.
Delusional maniac. This pretty much continued into week 2, but I did find out that the harpsichord has 2 settings.
Oh, really?
If you remove this block over here, you can change the harpsichord back and forth from 415 to 440 hertz.
Really?
So right now, I'm shifting the keyboard to the right to 440 hertz.
Oh, my raccoon ears are reacting to the tuning of the. Well, I don't know. It's I mean, it sounds normal, but like I know that this is C and stuff, but it's kind of complicated. Oh no, no, let's play Megalovania 2 in 415.
Now I'll shift the keyboards to the left to 415 hertz, and yeah, see,
And play the same.
difference. Now it's because the
Let's go. No, I hear the difference.
keyboard, once shifted, will be plucking a different pitch string 1/2
Oh, okay. I thought it was moving the strings themselves.
step away to the left or to the right. So I formulated a new strategy. Number 1, practice in 440 hertz
Okay.
on the harpsichords, so I can get used to the different feeling of playing it, because there's differences in like key touch and resistance.
Okay.
And secondly, I would then practice on a digital piano.
I see. What is bro doing? Well, you could easily change the easily change the frequency on a digital piano if it has that kind of setting.
Yeah, you heard me right. Digital piano. Now hear me out. Some digital pianos can change their sound from a piano to a harpsichord.
Yeah.
And secondly,
C note harmonica. Da da da.
some digital pianos can also have the ability to change their tuning.
I'd imagine that they would.
As you can see here, this is how it sounds at 440 hertz. However, we can configure this to go down to 424-ish hertz. And finally,
Now that sounds like a microtone.
we can go all the way down to Baroque tuning 415 hertz.
Yeah.
You see how this
Yeah, there's like a huge difference.
sounds like way lower? We can configure how low the pitch change can go. So
You could just change it a whole octave if you wanted to. I don't know how. What is the way? I'm not sure how that would work.
the strategy was to start off in 440 hertz. Then every day I would decrease my piano tuning.
Oh, I see. That's actually pretty creative. That's a creative way to go about it, especially if you're going to make this a multi-week endeavor.
About 1 hertz. At this rate, after 25-ish days, I should be able to reach 415 hertz and hopefully slowly trick my brain into getting used to it, one hertz at a time. And so it began. The initial days worked out great. It felt like normal playing. I was able to cross the around 432-ish range with a bit of difficulty. It sounded a tiny bit weird, like all the pitches were out of tune, but I could still trick my brain into thinking that it was just a slightly out of tune A 440 hertz. This required a lot of brain power to do, and this was slowly becoming an issue, because at the same time...
No, imagine getting so used to these changes that now even 440 sounds out of tune.
I was learning harpsichord continuo. Basically, it's a type of playing where if harpsichordists see a bass line like this, they can instantly already infer that this is supposed to be the chords above. Or if they're in another position or inversion, they can do this. Or even this. Like what? They can automatically do all the correct voice leading on the spots.
I don't really know that much about this. We never really got this far into music theory.
Such as avoiding parallel fifths, etc. Just from seeing a bass line. At an advanced level, harpsichordists can even improvise ornamentation.
They can read stuff like this from one bass line.
Or embellishments on the spots.
Isn't that how guitar chords work as well?
While maintaining,
or at least in a similar fashion.
all of the voice leading rules. Like what? That's so cool. Even just learning the basics of this, I was barely surviving, since it uses up a lot of mental energy in the minds to remember all of the different figurations and not accidentally do things like have parallel fifths or parallel octaves. But on top of all of this, my brain also had to divide attention to the pitch tuning. And eventually, I hit that wall. It was around the 422 to 426 hertz range, where I felt like any more going down and it would just be impossible to hear an A as an out of tune A.
Yeah.
And only hear it as a G sharp instead. I'm guessing it's because if you're looking at a continuum of sounding closer to a G sharp versus sounding closer to an A, 422 hertz was already closer to a G sharp than to an A.
Okay, you were already hitting the microtonality right there, and so...
As a result,
I'm having trouble commenting on this because this is getting very, very technical.
if I played an A note, I truly couldn't think that it was just an out of tune A anymore, but I kept hearing it as a very sharp G sharp. I kept trying for another week, but I couldn't seem to overcome this hurdle.
I'm trying very hard not to reference Middle Eastern music theory because something like that is a legitimate note in Middle Eastern music.
As the days went on, I was making some progress on the harpsichord, but this was only when it wasn't at
Passacaglia figurations.
415 hertz. For my actual harpsichord
Graduate
exam,
place.
I would be playing continuo while accompanying a Baroque recorder player.
Oh lord.
Which was always tuned to 415 hertz, so no matter what, I had to somehow manage to
yeah.
switch.
Hopefully it doesn't get too technical, because I don't know that much about those the way those chords work.
From 440 to 415 by then.
Let's
I
go.
still couldn't really manage to go below that wall of like the 422 range. And yeah, I kind of got more desperate as time went on. For a period of time, I only listened to music in Baroque tuning and also looking at the scores while listening to these
it's got a lot of that.
instruments. I even tried playing the piano, which was at 440, at the same time as I was listening to music at 415, which was...
So you were trying to do like two things at once. You're trying to play, if that's what I'm getting at, trying to listen to something that in your mind sounds out of tune while playing something that is in tune.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's night and day. Oh my god. Your average scary your average scary video game level.
Yeah, I don't really know what came over me.
I don't know why you decided to do that.
During that time.
You should have just continued lowering like the frequency of the electronic. This is giving me a brain fart, and so yeah, I understand his frustrations now.
I was, in hindsight, probably overthinking a lot. There was this sort of...
That's what I do a lot myself whenever I'm like trying to do even the most basic tasks, and then I overthink them because I'm like, I have to do this right or else it's not good enough.
Conflict with wanting to obviously learn continuo and understand Baroque pitch, but also this question always in the back of my mind of would I actually lose or break my perfect pitch?
Yeah, losing it. Yeah, I was that's like reminding me of like when you are born and raised with a particular accent, but then you move to a place that has a completely different accent, and then you start acquiring that accent, like going native, basically.
I haven't mentioned this yet, but this is important to state that a while before starting this challenge, I had the experience of losing my perfect pitch.
Oh.
I'm not sure if lose is the correct word, because technically it was worse than that. It shifted, which, yeah,
okay.
I think that's worse than losing it. So, for context, I had wisdom teeth surgery and...
Oh, wait a minute. Is there some sort of... There's no way that there's a correlation between having wisdom teeth and your perception of hearing.
Maybe it's because of the medication.
Oh, okay.
Maybe because of the area around my jaw, ear, region.
I mean, I know that the parts of your head are a lot more interconnected than you might think. Like, I remember... What was it? I remember having, like, fluid in my ears that was somehow related to something that was going on in my nose, and I needed this nasal spray to get rid of the fluid. And so I'm like, how exactly does fluid in your ears connect to having whatever's going on in your nose? And then I remember someone going through some liver problems, and then they were having like massive shoulder pain because the liver is not that far from the shoulders, so.
Got inflamed or from the teeth being removed, but for the next week after that surgery, my pitch shifted. I actually recorded all of this just to document what was happening. Honestly, yeah, it was legit kind of too low energy to make into a full video.
It's been about 48 hours since I had the wisdom tooth surgery, and yeah, I just now tried playing on my digital piano that's tuned to A440, but I don't know. It just sounds
It sounds weird to you.
a little flat.
Your perfect pitch seemed to shift down by 7 to 10. That's insane. It's at 450, which isn't too far off, but that sounds very interesting.
I think my pitch shifted around 7 to 10 hertz from 440. I would like to hope that it's only my digital piano pranking me, but I've listened to some recordings of piano and also my own compositions, and they all sound a tiny bit lower in pitch.
You should try doing that with other songs too.
I'm pretty stressed right now.
Aw. I mean, if this is something that you like do for a living and you make music and stuff, I'd imagine it'd be pretty annoying.
It just feels so weird. I really hope this isn't permanent.
It was really demotivating
Aw.
during that time because
I don't think I've ever had anything like this happen to me.
just playing the piano sounded off, trying to compose sounded off. Like what I heard in my head was not what came out on the instruments.
Damn.
Listening to my
So even in your head, everything sounds correct, but when you hear everything, there's something wrong.
familiar compositions or recordings sounded off, I was really thankful that during around day 5, my pitch perception slowly started pushing back to
What it
around
should be.
440 hertz. But I think my pitch might be still off by a couple hertz. It felt kind of like, once again, that color analogy I was talking about, but I was forced to having colors permanently different 24/7. I mean, it affected me still so much that even months later, while I was preparing for Continuo, like, this was going through my head as the exam was looming closer. I'm not sure if people realize how losing perfect pitch by having it shift is a very psychological thing for the person. I feel it's important
I hope I don't have to experience that anytime soon.
also to share the impact it can have on someone who's going through something like this.
Yeah, as someone who loves to sing and I like to listen to music. Oh my god, I don't know if I'd be able to handle something like that.
Okay, this was a bit heavy. So while all of these worries were going through my head, and as the exam was looming closer,
Okay, so he had an exam coming up.
all of a sudden, something really weird happened.
The shift. The stress of, the stress of the exam probably had an effect as well. Because I know people will get, like, test anxiety is a very real thing. Granted, I myself have always been a very good test taker. Tests have never really affected me all that much. I just knew that they were going to happen. In fact, I never really studied for tests. I just always was good at them. Although
Honestly,
I was also very slow though.
it was rather anticlimactic. I wish there was some sort of boss battle, like a moment of triumph, maybe in the middle, playing in an exam or something epic, but
No, did everything go back to normal? One of your wits still buried inside.
no.
Ugh.
I just woke up one day,
Just around 2 months into the challenge.
sat down and played, and didn't find the tuning weird. I
Don't really know how else to describe it. So you kind of just got used to it.
don't
Just all of a sudden.
really know how else to describe it. It's more like I could play and listen, but if I thought about it too much, it would disappear.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if you say a particular word over and over again, then that word starts to sound weird.
And I would start to play wrong notes again. If I didn't think of the pitches, I would
No thoughts in Cerno's empty head.
find out that they sounded different. It's
Yeah, just don't think about it at that point. It's like, no, that's the problem. You were thinking. You're with friends. Okay, yeah. Don't worry, Pinnacle. You're all good.
very weird to describe. I could play a bunch of music, and it would usually work if I was
Oh yeah, blur and unfocus. Yeah, I'll do it right. Your friends just got 15 lottery tickets. Here, I'm blurring my eyes right now. yeah, everything looks, and then yeah, just obviously you can't tell when I have this 3D model, but yeah,
Already familiar with the
fortune favors the bold, fortune favors the brave, fortune favors the brave with PP Plus from South Park Streaming Wars.
piece. So it could have been just muscle memory with my fingers.
Could be that as well.
Or maybe because I was familiar with the tune, it was sort of like hearing the music in tinted lens.
I could unfocus on the colors, so they seem blurry, if that makes sense. Okay.
Or like stained glass, or you know, like how there's old paper is kind of yellow, it's like faded yellow. I was getting that kind of vibe. So the moment I was able to play on 415, I was also slightly worried at this point. Did it mean that my perfect pitch was on its way to become permanently shifted? I didn't really know.
I wouldn't know.
But to me, then
I wonder how that would even work.
it was also very satisfying when something I'd been trying so hard all of a sudden just clicked. I still
Yeah, I know. I'm like that too.
440 tuning, but over the course of the next month, I gradually got used to the harpsichord.
No, it's like when you're trying to solve some video game puzzle and it takes you a while, and then all of a sudden you see the solution and like, oh, it was so obvious even from the beginning.
Chord at 8415 hertz tuning. I still had to ignore the pitches or force myself to hear it as a blurry tinted sepia, but I was gradually getting used to it.
You have to squint with your ears, yeah.
In hindsight, I realized what this was. Relative pitch.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it's like the one good way to describe the difference between perfect pitch and relative pitch is like when you're trying to sing a song, someone with perfect pitch will remember the exact key signature of the song and the exact notes. But someone with relative pitch will remember like the melody, but they're not going to remember the actual key signature for which it was sung in.
It pains me to say this, but all throughout my childhood and in learning music, my relative pitch had always been kind of trash.
Oh yeah. Determine the distance of musical note from a set point of reference, 3 octaves above middle C. Let's see. This is middle C. This is 1 octave. I can't sing that high. I used to be able to sing that high, but I can't.
I wouldn't be confident enough to say that it was non-existent, but it was certainly very, very weak. You know, whenever you have those oral listening tests, you're supposed to hear the quality of the chord, right? Nah.
Okay, I think, well, yeah, the AP music theory exam, we had the written exam, and then we had the auditory exam.
For me, I always just wrote down all the pitches, then visually thought of what the chords might be from
Oh, I get it. I can't remember all of these chords.
those pitches. And you know how people might memorize the quality of the intervals just by the song? For example, the first 2 notes of Amazing Grace. That's how you get, like, perfect fourth.
Okay, I see. You have relative pitch when you were a kid. Nowadays, it's a bit trash. I mean, for me, I don't know how I would do it. I mean, I do have to think about it sometimes, but yeah.
You memorize that interval?
Da 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 taps.
I never paid much attention to
I guess that would be a good reference song.
hearing the interval, and in the oral listening exams, if they played 2 notes, I would just write out the pitches
Oh, that actually does make sense though.
and manually calculate, okay, so what's the interval? Is it major, minor, perfect? I'm not sure if this
I
is
see.
just me being
That is a very good way to figure it out though, is writing it down.
super lazy and weird, but I would wager that I'm not the only one who might do this. This is my theory, but in general, I think it is sort of easier to cheese your way through all of these ear training steps.
Kind of. I don't know.
However, because you do this, people with perfect pitch never truly develop as strong of a relative pitch compared to those who don't have perfect pitch.
Right.
Remember how perfect pitch hears wiggly air? Relative pitch people hear the ratio differences between
Oh, I see.
2 wiggly airs. They don't need an exact pitch reference to know what sounds like a major 6th, for example, because they just perceive the difference. And my theory is, at this point of somehow being able to get used to Baroque pitch, I finally embarrassingly enough, started to truly obtain and strengthen.
I think this is also related to strengthening transposition, something perfect pitch people are generally worse at. I don't even remember what is transposition again? I don't remember what that is. Is it where you convert a song into another key signature, or am I thinking of something else?
My relative pitch. Finally, joining the ranks of a skill that like 99% of
It's a constant characteristic amongst good musicians.
all the musicians.
Unlike absolute pitch, yeah.
Throughout this time, I kept grasping this weird feeling, and before I knew it, the exam day was here.
All right, let's go.
So, exam day. You can hear some of it right.
This is the live recording of the exam. Shout out to the professor. They allowed you to record the challenge. Nice. Yeah. I can transpose. I can, like, sometimes it can be hard to transpose a song, but it's not that hard. My brother does it sometimes when he's just casually listening to DDR music, and then he always transposes it to a specific key signature.
Now, in the background.
Following the soloist in their cues. All in 4/15. The unfocused pitch state. Yeah, just don't think, just play it. Plays the sheet music as it's written and not worry about the sound. Yeah.
Of course, by no means was this playthrough perfect, but
Yeah.
I'm proud at what I had overcome.
Well, at least you were able to figure it out.
This was only the first out of 2 semesters I did harpsichord continuo for, but undoubtedly the first semester of continuo was the worst for me to adapt to Baroque pitch. Continuo and learning partimento, as well as improvising ornaments, were actually really fun once I got the hang of the tuning issues. To quickly sum up the second semester, I want to say that I absolutely smacked the Baroque tuning.
Let's go.
Sam was able to do the shift, but
Shift flawlessly. Yeah, in like the first half, it was just, yeah, after that, yeah, once you've gotten used to something, it usually becomes cakewalk in like subsequent, I don't want to say attempts. I don't think that's the correct word for it.
I don't know, I couldn't. Even after an extra semester. The best I could do was try my best to ignore the pure pitch
Oh no.
sound and unfocus, instead going by muscle memory and fingers. in
Yeah, that's probably the best course of action.
combination with like a general loose sense of relative direction. After
I mean, something that you could do was just completely rewrite the Baroque music. But I don't think that would be, I don't know if that would suffice. I'm pretty sure they would want you to play it as written with the key, with the tuning in particular, instead of just transposing it.
2 semesters, it still feels like walking across a tightrope, where if I don't constantly practice this in 415 tuning, I'd lose this feeling and revert back to 440.
Yeah. It was way longer and much more intense. Oh. Yeah, to
I
use
feel like
that.
being able to switch this 440, 450
Da, da,
thing
da.
on and off and jump between is different from that time I was forcefully swapped perfect pitch
Yeah.
from that wisdom tooth removal. For
I mean, the thing about singing is that, I mean, hypothetically, you could just, like, memorize the melody and the words, which is technically how you would do it. And, like, in addition to being in band, I was also in choir. We would sing, like, we would read, like, the sheet music, and, like, the thing that we would do is that we would, the first thing we would do was learn the rhythm. And if we're singing in another language, usually Latin, we would practice those words in particular and practice pronouncing them. And then we would practice the melodies using solfege, and then we would put them all together. And then we'd have to memorize it. So I think as long as you memorize if you were to sing, it would be best to at least memorize it. But when it comes to, like, playing piano or harpsichord. I don't know if, I mean, I'm certain that you could memorize it, but you'd probably still have to read it.
For those with perfect pitch, let me know if you've ever had your pitch shift too from
I've never had my pitch shift.
situations like this. I know it's definitely a thing for older people over a certain age.
There's this video by Adam
Why you don't want perfect pitch.
points to studies which show that past a particular age, your perfect pitch will most likely shift permanently,
Which is a sobering thought to realize.
Yeah, as someone who's 28, it looks like I've got 12 years to go before my perfect pitch goes to shit.
I'm very thankful that I had a taste in what it was like during this wisdom tooth shift arc, and I also feel like I have a hint now of how I might not sink into another unmotivated, very gloomy mood if I'm older and my perfect pitch shifts permanently this time. Anyways,
I hope this video doesn't trigger something in my brain. Let's hope that doesn't happen, because that would suck.
I never would have expected that these 8 months would be like this. When I started...
Damn, so he did this for like two-thirds of a year.
filming and this experiments, I thought it was just going to be a cringe compilation of me getting dunked on the entire time by
No, you're doing...
pitch. Instead, it turned out to be quite a journey of self-discovery, both in
Yeah.
my fascination with continuo, improvising, and partimento, but also with my findings on how I can get through this Baroque tuning, as well as surprisingly finding a path for relative pitch and transposition. So, to answer the title of this video, can perfect pitch survive Baroque tuning?
Well, you were certainly, not only were you able to survive, but based on your exams, you seem to have thrived.
I'd say yeah.
Let's go. Oh, look at this. Music theory explained with brain rot terms. That's minor 7th, minor 8th. I don't know what this degree sign means. But do we want to look at that just for the lulz more than anything? Oh my god, I don't know. But I'll let you guys decide once I get such an uncommon instrument to learn. Yeah, the harpsichord. I'll be right back and I'll let you decide. I'll let you guys decide if we should look at brain rot music theory. I see that Brett and Rhodey want to look at advanced music theory explained with brain rot terms. I don't know if I'm going to be looking forward to this. And then there's this one, I think it's the same video, but with a different thumbnail. We have one that's not Sigma, going from what I'm assuming is C2 to C, D, E, F sharp. C to F sharp. Da, 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 which is apparently not very Sigma, according to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Chat, in this video, we finna explain college-level music theory in
Oh, hell no.
brain rot terms, and we are not holding back. We speed running any percent 9 music theory concepts from easy to hard.
Take that long for it to go off the rails that quickly. I see C, is that D minor, E minor, F, G chords, and then notes with a whole bunch of, I think those are slurs.
Hard starting
Oh yeah, coughing bomb versus hydrogen baby. No. Oh yeah, yes. Yes. Okay, I was right about.
from
Never
where
mind.
freshmen cry and ending where PhD students insanely dissociate into the void. Level 1.
Okay, yeah, sure. Oh, Subway Surfers. Roman numerals. As a kid, I used to think that it was Roman noodles. Has anyone else ever thought that? Where you hear something when you're a kid and you think you're saying one thing, but as it turns out, you've been saying it wrong this whole time?
And Roman numerals. In any key, every chord built from the scale gets a Roman numeral.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uppercase Roman numerals mean a major chord. And
Yes, this is something that I do know.
lowercase means a minor chord.
Minor, and then we go to A minor chord, da 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 da, because it was in the context of Stewie Griffin writing a love song.
The little circle means a diminished, so
Diminished, yes.
high
Okay,
cortisol chords. Why do we use Roman numerals?
because because it's fancy.
For some low-Kenu interval analysis.
I don't even know what that means. Low-Kirkenuanly.
Roman numerals let you dap up a piece in any key without relearning everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I wouldn't.
We can now use these numerals to understand functional harmony. Chords have roles that create tension and release. Let's take a very standard 1-4-5-1 progression, a certified banger class.
Okay, is this the generic... Wait, which one is the generic pop song progression that is most prominently featured in Don't Stop Believin', that is also in Let It Go from Frozen?
Used for over 300 years in Western classical music by aura farmers like Bach and Beethoven.
Beethoven. Big John Sebastian Bach. Missed opportunity to put Sebastian the Crab from The Little Mermaid on there, and Ludwig von Beethoven.
According to functional sigma hierarchy,
I don't even...
the one chord has tonic function. It's the Skibbity HQ
This person is, I'm pretty sure Hatsune Miku knows all the chords.
bass. Certain chords, like the 4 chord, have a predominance function, where they act as the mid.
The most generic chord progression, yes. Da-da. Yes. No, play. Dun 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 dun. I can't sing chords. You have to, yeah, because the snow glows white on the mountain tonight. Not a footprint to be seen. And I'll sing that in relation to the piano intro of Don't Stop Believin'.
4-hour doom scroll detour to lead into the dominant. The 5 chord has a dominant
I think Ed Sheeran tried to point that out to some snarky musicians in some short that I remember seeing.
function, giving
Oh, I remember dominant chords and stuff. Miku-chan is a machine, kind of. She's just a software designed to sing songs. What kind of image would you put on her lifeless body? Because she's Anonymous M, according to Pinocchio P.
You're approaching me tension. Basically, imagine you just asked who Joe is and you realize your mistake. There's
Joe from Blue's Clues?
so much tension in the air because you know what's coming, which is the one chord shouting Joe Mama.
So
And right back to the beginning.
why do chords have such functions? Well, inside tonal harmony, there are 2 wolves, stability and instability. Stability
There are 2 wolves inside of you. There are 2 wolves inside of Bao the Whale. Can you guess where they're inside of her?
is notes glazing smoothly, like C plus E, bro is a
Yeah.
part of your symphony. Instability is notes yapping, saying nah I would
Nah, man.
win, but you figure bro may be capping. Bro did not win.
No.
Chords with this instability, like G dot
And then they want to resolve. You hear that, and then you want to hear it revert back to something.
and 7th,
Like
believe in gravity, and thus have a pull towards
Like that, yes.
stability. And this is why resolving the sus yap becomes absolute peak cinema. We call this
Yeah.
the tonal resolution.
Resolution. No, we're not going to resolve something. We're going to resolve something because we got to stick our gat out for the Rizzler, the one Costco boy with his fingers on his chin, and they'll be like, "We're Costco guys. Of course we gotta try the new double chocolate cookie. I love Costco, Dad."
There are also other factors.
Yes, the 2, and they are both my boyfriends. Yeah, no, I ain't gonna let you touch them. They're my homeboys. One stable and the other unstable. Yes. We have one wolf who's very mentally stable, and he's the one that wears the pants in the relationship because he's the one that makes the money, and the other one is, let's just say he's a bit kooky in the head, so he's the bottom bitch.
Such as the leading tone wanting to resolve, or the 5th to root bass motion. We
Like
can
that.
use this tension and resolution, similar to how Japan turns footsteps into electricity.
Is that even a thing? Japan and East Asia use a lot of pentatonic systems.
To create cadences.
All of tonal
Cadences.
music is like a
Oh, and I know that some anime music has a specific chord progression. You can hear it in the first intro of Madoka Magica.
Yeah, you must have sentence structure throughout chord progressions and have cadences that function like punctuations. A perfect cadence feels like a W. Plagal cadences feel like church choir NPC vibes. Deceptive cadences give off psych you thought the song was over.
No, we're just getting started.
Energy, and half cadences embody unfinished sentence type beats. But
Yeah,
thinking
I mean, there are some songs that end like that.
back to this 5-1 logic, it can be also used to rage bait via secondary dominance.
Oh, shit.
So basically, the 5 chords to 1 chord's pull is already absolute cinema, tension, resolution, storyline. But then bro pointed that same dominant energy at not the tonic. That is called a secondary dominant, meaning dominant of that Suki Bear. For example, 5 of 5, which in the context of C major is like putting a D major chord down, which then leads to G major. It's like the pre-boss fight music before the boss fight. Bro grittied on the ops before
That's not boss fight music. That's not how boss fight music usually starts.
grittying on the ops again. Secondary dominants introduce chromatic notes, but don't fully leave the key. Very we are in filler episode energy.
Yes, here we are.
But then chat asked,
And then, God damn it, I already forgot his Skipper. Skipper shows up to join the Five Nights at Freddy's squad with... Who was that again? Heisenberg?
what if bro actually locked in Alien and left permanently? Well, that's called modulation. One go-to way of modulating is through pivot chords. Bro finds one chord that belongs to the old key and the new key simultaneously. Bro can use that chord as a portal. For example, you're standing in C major, bro plays an A minor chord, which is the 6 in C major, totally normal, and then suddenly reveals that was actually 4 in E minor the whole time. And
And then the key signature changes from here.
now we are in E minor and have already been there for quite a while. Other ways to involve modulation include direct modulation, which refuses to elaborate, using sequences to modulate, which is copy and paste Riz, or enharmonic modulation, which is when the enharmonic
I
notes
have
are
no idea how to interpret this.
Number 6, augmented 6 chords.
I feel like I should know what this is, but I don't remember.
These chords are predominance tension monsters. They contain an augmented 6th interval, for example, A flat and F sharp.
Oh, jeez.
That interval hears the dominance and says, must resolve outwards immediately.
We have to.
And it hits different. There are 3 sigma variants. The Italian 6th, France said, what the sigma, and added extra spice with this French 6th chord. The German 6th has the same notes as the dominant 7th chord and harmonically. Bro is literally a Mogus disguised dominant chord imposter.
I don't even know where this is going.
Theft Harmony Edition.
Modulation.
With pitch class set theory, we now enter the atonal dimension arc. Alan Forte pulled out like Unk with numbers, and every pitch becomes 0 to 11. C is 0, C sharp is 1, D is 2, etc.
Okay, you're gonna need some 0.5s if you're gonna go to the place with the sand people.
Call this pitch class notation, where bro turns music into calculator lore. A pitch class set is a collection of any of these numbers. For example, 0, 4, and 7 make up a C major triad, and 0, 3, 7 make up a C minor triad. If you know your set.
This is 6 degrees above your head.
As prime form, that is elite ball knowledge. An interval vector.
Well, he did say that it was college level music theory.
Is a code that tells how many of these interval classes appear in the set.
Yeah, I don't know what any of this means. We never got this far into AP music theory.
Genuine saying, but you.
The most that I remember from AP music theory is learning how to compose music in a Baroque style, where you have to make sure that the soprano, the alto, the tenor, and the bass don't overlap in certain ways or something like that. I don't remember what happens.
Could peep a Z relation when they flex their aura points with
You said Zed, which implies he's Canadian.
the same interval vectors, but high-key chopped when they can't transpose or invert to the other. Bro, they're musical doppelgangers with different identities, just like Danny Slicer, CEO of Evil Corp behavior, but for chords. This is also used when we talk about 12-tone serialism. One day, Arnold Schoenberg pull up and be like, L plus ratio tonic hierarchy, then made tone row.
Oh! Let him cook. Apologies for this brain rot that you're witnessing, Prinicle. We're trying to explain music theory in Gen Z and alpha terms.
All the 12 notes are now equal. Pitches are now organized by rows. There exists the prime row, which is the original row of 12 pitches.
I've just been focusing. I'm not even paying attention to the actual video. I've been distracted by the Subway Surfers gameplay. no, out of everything in this video, the Subway Surfers gameplay that's behind my avatar is what's catching my attention. But then the Family Guy footage started distracting me. Oh my god. Don't cross the streams or you get complete reversal proton particle annihilation. The spirit world, just never mind.
The retrogrades, which is the row
The retrograde, I didn't realize Jupiter was in retrograde right now.
backwards, the inversion, which has that same row, but every interval is flipped upside down, and the retrograde inversion, monkey flipped, and we're so back.
I
Okay,
don't even,
fine.
oh my god, I had to breathe in just a moment.
No boss, Neo-Riemannian theory and parsimony.
Neo-Riemannian theory. Wait, we're bringing the Riemann hypothesis into this?
Voice leading. This yapontological low state is a way to map which chords are secretly homies with each other inside harmonic space. But we also can voice lead maxing efficiency optimize by showing
Oh no, Reimu Hakure right here.
how triads move between each other using the least possible note movement, also known as parsimonious.
What the fuck is going? I don't
Voice
even.
leading.
You know what? I'm not even going to try to comprehend what he's even talking about. I'm just looking at all the flashy bullshit on my screen.
Only one block parkour jumps for the chicken allowed. Neo-Riemannian lore has three basic principles. The P parallel transformation, where the perfect fifth be chillin', but Brian Smith turns into Quandale Dingle.
No. I've already made a Quandale Dingle thing a long time ago when I first started streaming.
While fighting for the major or minor third position. The L leading tone transformation has the minor third pass the vibe check, but the other notes gets kicked off the server by a semitone. And finally, the R relative transformation, which turns photos printed into bogos binted by keeping
What?
the major third bussin', while the other note takes a trip to Ohio by a whole tone. These
Let's
relations
go.
can also be expressed via a skibbity tonets or a tonal grid.
A Tonets.
And there are many variations on this. So to recap, chats, this is the Music University curriculum speedrun any % world record. If even half of that made sense, bro, you are already ahead of the curve.
About a third of it made sense. Does that mean I'm not? Does that mean I'm on the curve? He tried to learn clarinet in 30 days. Okay, that unironically kind of fried my brain low-key. But I was distracted by all of the pretty colors that were... It's no wonder attention spans have gotten crazy. Please share it, Jack, before my brain continues to fry.